realize all you see is for you and I. In your dreams, through the nights, every moment that passes by, look to the heavens, hands spread wide, thanking Allah the Most High. There is no God but Allah.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear viewers, I'm very pleased to welcome you once again to our next episode of iTeens World, where we are discussing leadership development for youth. And today, interestingly, we have three guests that are young, vibrant, and I would like to start with introducing first.
My name is Abdul Yusuf. You must have seen me before. I am 17 years old and originally I'm from India, but I've been living in Dubai for nearly 16 years.
MashaAllah.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Amr Timsah. I am in grade 11. I am 16 years old. I'm Canadian of Lebanese descent. I've been living in the UAE for 15 years.
MashaAllah.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mohammad Waseem. I'm from Malaysia and I'm 14 years of age. I've lived here for roughly 13 years to 14 years, but I was born in Malaysia.
Okay, mashallah. So workshops, as you know, or sessions, is to facilitate the learning and to have the knowledge and then applying this knowledge into practice. And today's topic, we will be discussing self-confidence and how we can build this self-confidence and what are the guidelines for confidence. We'll start quickly with Abdul Mateen first. What do you think self-confidence is, Abdul?
I think self-confidence is something that it's very important for a leader. Especially when I see, for example, in my school, the head boy, he needs to have the confidence to bring up important matters in front of administration of the school. The principal, whether it be the vice principal, or any of the teachers. And he should have the confidence to stop wrong and encourage the good, as it's encouraged.
What do you think confidence is like?
Self-confidence is assurance. It's the freedom of doubt. Basically, it's believing in your talents and abilities.
And can you give me an example of self-confidence as you see it? Like, for example, you are in school, and who do you think is a person who has that confidence, and what do you build this confidence on?
You build self-confidence on the correct understanding of Islam. You have to build it on your religion. Self-confidence will also mean like standing up for yourself, not giving in to peer pressure, having a strong personality.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that this can be developed? There are some people that are shy, or you see in school there are kids that they don't have that confidence or that ability to speak in front of peers, or the ability to take the role of a head boy, for example, like Abdul Mateen said. What do you think, Moem?
I think that self-confidence is very important, because if you're shy, if you're too shy, you're not brave to talk to anyone around you, to your colleagues and anyone. Like, if you need help to someone, you're too shy to talk to them. You'll be like, you're not brave enough to ask for sugar from my neighbors and anything.
Yeah.
So if I want taste, it'll be bitter. My food will be bitter.
But the point is, like, how can we develop it? Like, we know that, okay, this is self-confidence, this is what it means, but how do you develop it? Some people have that ability to speak in front of big crowds, but there are others that don't have that. What are the foundations of confidence?
I think one of the most important things that I picked up on some of the workshops that we did with self-confidence was that putting yourself in unfamiliar situation. When you put yourself in unfamiliar situations, there's a saying that when you put yourself in unfamiliar situations, you are the person that you are. That shows the real you. So when you put yourself in unfamiliar situations, as when, for example, for me, I do not like to bargain. For example, stores are for anything. So they tell us, this is 50 dirhams, when it's actually supposed to be for like 10 dirhams. So I had that fear. Now I'm trying, inshallah, that to try to ask for more, talk a bit more on to them on how to purchase.
But Abdul Mateen, one thing is that we talk about confidence in a general terms. But the other thing is, we feel that a lot of Muslim youth at the moment, they perhaps don't have that confidence in Islam. They do say that we believe, but then when it comes to practice and showing that practice to others, we feel that, because I work with youth, so I'm taking those examples where I feel that there are some youth that they will change their names to Mo instead of Muhammad, and just to fit in with that crowd. And do you think they do have that confidence in their deen, or is it something else?
Well, there's many reasons to having a higher level of self-confidence. The first reason would be how the parents try to make their confidence higher. First
But
of all,
is it the parents? I mean, is it just the parents, or
It's
is it
partly
you yourself?
parents.
Because a lot of times I think, we start saying that because of the parents, this is what it comes. Yes, I think parents do nurture that self-confidence in a person, but it's also that sometimes, you yourself, I mean, when you're 15, 16, you have the foundations of the deen, but then when you go to school, perhaps, you find it difficult. And I
I
think
tell you, it's the environment, Mamdouh Waseem. I'll tell you truthfully. It's the environment, it's the type of people that surround you. I experience that when I'm with my Muslim friends and stuff. It's easier to be Muslim. It's easier to say, hey, let's go pray. It's easier to say, hey, why do you do this? Something bad. When you're in front of non-Muslims, you don't feel that confidence.
Why do you think this is? What is the thing that is lacking in us that we can't perhaps build that confidence and come up and say, no, it's not, I have to pray. I mean, I have seen examples of big stadiums, a graduation ceremony in United States, and
Yes.
I think you guys must have
Video
seen
on YouTube,
Yeah,
yes.
exactly. And you see the guy praying in front of the hundreds of thousand people, and I mean, this is confidence. And I can relate to you my own time when I was living in Canada and I was working there. I had one time colleague of mine, and we were working in a mixed environment, of course, and we had a lot of people, and it was a cafeteria, and it was full of people. And then this brother, mashallah, he just took his jacket off and he started praying. And you know what? It had a big impact on me myself, because I realized, why do I go in the stairs or the electrical room to pray when, mashallah, this brother just, he didn't really care of the surrounding, he just started praying. And this is the confidence that I think we lack. And it really, these are the examples that when we see and when we talk about, help us build that confidence.
I think then it goes back to the same hadith. The Prophet ﷺ said that if you see something wrong, the first, you should stop it with your hand. And the most severest part. And it's the same thing, the saying that encourage good and forbid evil. So as you mentioned, the praying in front of others, of course it had a big impact, because you're portraying yourself that I take my religion with pride. And I need to show people that this is serious and we believe in this. And then it comes to their question, why does he do it so seriously? Maybe there is something important.
What do you guys think? How can we develop this? Like I asked before, but I need examples. Like, how can you develop this confidence? What do you think can help the youth today?
Well, first of all, they should have the correct understanding of the religion, of their own religion, Islam. I remember a story about during the times of the Prophet ﷺ, when he appointed Osama bin Zayd, leader of the army, when he was only 17 or 19 years old. And in that army there were the biggest Sahaba like Abu Bakr, Siddiq, Umar bin Khattab, and Ali bin Abi Talib. Osama bin Zayd, even though he was the youngest one, he had a high degree of faith and confidence, which is why he accepted that mission.
MashaAllah. And this shows you also the importance of youth taking the, they are the future of any community. And this is what we are trying to do. We'll be taking a break and we will be back soon, inshallah.
Look to the heavens, hands spread wide, thanking Allah the Most High. There is no God but Allah.
Welcome back to iTeens World. Once again, we're discussing the topic of self-confidence, trying to facilitate a discussion where we can actually earn knowledge to improve our skills in self-confidence, so that we can then perhaps put these skills into practice in becoming a good leader? I have the, we were just discussing before the break, and I was just asking you guys that what do you guys think that we need to work on to make it better for others? I'm sure you guys have acquired some confidence skills during this time, but what can you do and advise others?
Just be brave.
Okay.
Be brave to your call. Be brave.
But be brave in what sense? Like, for example,
be courageous. The one thing that I think is the most important part is never be afraid of the consequences. If you know what you're standing is for the truth and you're confident, there's nothing that can stop you. So now the confident part is maybe something that you're lacking.
Yeah, I can give you a story actually from US, and I heard it from one of the renowned Ustad of Arabic, and he was narrating a colleague of his. He was a Hafiz, and mashallah, when he finished memorization of the Quran, he was going to Islamic school, of course, in US, and then he said, you know what, he went to his parents and he said, I want to go to a public school. And his parents were, what? You want to go to a public school? It will be difficult, perhaps it will affect the way you are at the moment. It will be a lot of peer pressure. We don't want you to fall into the trap of, falling into sins and being difficult for you. Why do you want to go? And he said, look, I memorized the Quran. I got God's message. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has guided me to this. I need to spread this message. I need to communicate to the others. And subhanallah, when he completed high school, in his high school, 16 people converted to Islam. MashaAllah. But this is again just one part of being confident about. And when you don't have the confidence, there are also consequences. There are other people that have memorized the Quran, but they have forgot because they didn't have that confidence in what they were reading, memorizing, and then what they were, the actions coming from, stemming from these message of Quran and Sunnah.
Brother Waseem, the reason why I think the guy you were talking about, that he memorized the Quran and went into the direction of dawah, and he made 16 people convert
at such a young age.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think the reason for that is because he was always positive. Even though it didn't work at the start, he still bounced back from that and continued in the correct direction until he completed his goal. He had determination.
Mm-hmm.
He was confident that this was the right path, and no one else was going to bother me with this Islam, the way of life.
And this is the point that I wanted to come across. We need to have very strong foundations. And these foundations, once we know and we apply it in our life, it becomes very difficult to go back. SubhanAllah, of course, guidance is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He is the one who guides us all. But it's building that confidence, but also at the same time, and one of our topics in the future is going to be having that confidence, but also having the humility about that what we have, because sometimes overconfidence can actually backfire. What do you think, Abdul Mateen?
I have faced, I'll tell you a really good story. One of my teachers was telling me that just before their exam, or some of their final exams, they had a test. This is a model of the actual exam, and he got 100%. And at the end of the day, when the real exam actually happened, he failed. Why? Because he had overconfidence. And that's something I faced myself, that before the exam, when you have a small test, you get excellent grades. But when the actual exam comes, you become so overconfident, like, I don't need to study at all. I can just fly with passing colors, just like I did.
I'm too good for this.
I'm too good for this, exactly.
But even in religion, I think, in Islam, sometimes we have Muslims that they're overconfident, they have the knowledge, they have the understanding, and they start getting arrogant, perhaps.
You can see on Twitter, by the way, all those sheikhs that appear on Twitter by themselves, and they themselves are giving sometimes very doubtful opinions on religion, when they don't exactly have knowledge.
I mean, we cannot generalize. I think there is sometimes discussions that perhaps can result, and the result being is like they are very confident of their knowledge or their interpretation, and then perhaps it results into that it shows us that they're being arrogant, perhaps. And this is very important, that to keep that we focus on self-confidence, but we also make sure that we have
not too much.
Yeah, we also have that humility, because it's not that we are perfect human beings, it's not that we know everything about our deen, we need to be respectful of others. And I'm sure you have seen sometimes that overconfidence can actually crack, like you said. Any
Yeah.
other examples, like Omar, you want to relate?
To arrogance or
Yeah,
to...
arrogance.
I don't have a story, but I know like something bad about arrogance is when a person is arrogant, he will not be accepting any opinions.
Mhm.
So if he's in the wrong direction
So
and he's not
it's
accepting
walking that fine line between self-confidence and, getting that arrogance and getting that thing
and
in
if
the
he
head.
stays arrogant, he's not gonna get...
And Allah
He's
said
not
a
accept
person
the
who has a
correct
grain of
opinions.
arrogance won't be allowed to enter Jannah.
Yeah, right.
So, and the Iblis did not make sujood to Adam alayhi salam, even though he was commanded by Allah. Why?
Yeah.
So I think that
so
something
just
that's very important.
making that line fine again, I think self-confidence requires us also to have that humility, but also to build that confidence we need to have strong foundations of our religion. We need to make sure we understand and we apply those principles in our daily life. And I really want to hear from you more on some type of issues that we feel that why the Muslim youth at this time is not so confident about our deen.
They don't want to stand out. That's as I mentioned before. People want to be part of the crowd. That's one thing, and the other
But
thing
how
is,
can we fix it? How can we help each other to understand? Especially this program is not just for youth, it's for parents, it's for teachers, it's for the whole, all sorts of people are watching and they are more interested in knowing that what we can do for you guys, and we can then build this
brother,
skill.
See, I have a tip for parents. For example, if they want to build confidence in their child, they should always like spend quality time with them to boost their confidence. They could
support them.
Yeah, they could attend activities they like. They could encourage them to try out new things. They could do that without scolding, without criticizing, so they don't tear down their
Parents
confidence.
should remember when they themselves were kids, they used to face problems as well. But unless you agree to the problems that yes, we have a problem, let's fix it.
What do you think, Mohammed?
Like if I play football a lot, and if my parents don't support me, then my confidence will be low. I have low esteem, and I won't do anything.
What about in deen? What do you think? How can the parents can help in building?
One of the sheikhs said a very important thing about that is a lot of parents encourage their children just to stay on the side, don't look out, don't be outspoken. It's a dangerous world. If you're careful of yourself,
They should allow them to take risks, as long as the risks and opportunities that they're
Find,
taking are in the boundaries of...
Yeah, within the
Islam.
guidelines.
Yeah.
Within the guidelines, yes. Yes, Mohammed, do you agree with it?
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah. And Abdul Mateen, what do you think that perhaps we talked about that these are the weaknesses, but we also need to talk about the solution. What do you think will help someone who's low confidence about the deen, about our religion, and we can help boost as young people? What do you think they can go and do?
I think that this thing I take for myself, that you should surround yourself with good people.
Yes.
Yes.
Good friends. Find
That's
good
the most
people.
important. Yeah.
If you're surrounded by bad people, they'll insult you every day. They'll scold you, and you won't have.
And they
Good
lead you into
confidence.
wrong. They encourage you to do wrong things. So keep your. I keep it myself that if I don't have good friends, I won't. It's a loss, but the loss
Yeah.
is too big,
Yeah.
and I don't think that I would sacrifice my values and my religion to just have some quality time.
Some
So
cool
surround
friends.
yourself with good people. What
Mhm.
else? Do you think they need some mentors, some guidelines to work with certain teachers?
Yeah, get a mentor and a guide, or even an elder brother or an elder person. Your father is a good example, of course, but people from a higher grade. Friend
Someone
the head
with good
boy.
knowledge.
Yeah,
So knowledge plays a key role in
Yes.
Understanding the deen.
unless you
really.
know what you're talking
Of
about.
course, this is
Yeah.
what it is basically. You need to have that knowledge.
You need to know what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah, you need to build that moral foundations. You need to spend time with the good people. The good companionship goes a long way. But how do you then go from there? How do you go from there when you have the companionship? We still find there is a problem, there is a gap. What do you do next?
Knowledge is very important, as he said.
Yes,
Al-ilmu nur. Knowledge is guidance.
And to act
Yeah.
upon it.
to act upon it is another thing. And I can tell you, from real life examples, because I have done some programs where we went and we discussed how we can breed this into the youth. I think basically sometimes we take petty little things that we think will, in front of others, I will feel like dumb if I talk about this certain topic, but
Waseem, you faced many things like this. You went to Canada. How did you deal with it?
yeah, I think basically the most important thing I always remembered is like, if I'm a model for Muslims to look at, in terms of, not that I am so high upon somewhere, it's just to, because when you're a Muslim and you're a minority, you want to keep those things with you, and one of the reasons is like you want to protect that identity. It's not the identity of being from that country or this country, coming from this school or this university, but it's the identity of being a Muslim. And then how you do it, it can be difficult at times, but again, like I said, my story where I was so influenced by the person praying in front of people that then we went to the university and we were praying in one of the rooms outside. Then confidence grew because of the people again around us and the examples we see. So it's, that built the confidence.
And but from that story, we can understand
Yeah.
that you go ahead and do your good thing.
Yeah.
If you know what you're doing is good, go ahead and do it. Because you might think nobody else is doing it. Why am I the only person doing it?
Yes.
Once you do it, it might encourage other people.
You should
have no
never limit
confidence in
yourself.
Yeah, and actually you gain respect out of it, because what happened is we did get a place to pray, and we did,
musalla.
yeah,
Yeah.
musalla in the
Mashallah.
university, and we did get a place to pray in the office where we were working. We did get our prayer sheets, and it might be there still in
And
one
I
of the
think one of the
offices.
most important things that we forgot to mention up till now is tawakkul on Allah.
Yes.
If
Trust
you know
in
what
Allah.
you're right,
Tawakkul, not tawakkul.
of course, yes.
And again, I think summing it up, we need to work on building that confidence through acquiring the knowledge and putting it into practice.
And having a
Again,
good companionship.
having a good companionship, and this is
Tawakkul.
this is tawakkalullah. And of course, again, guidance comes from Allah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who gives us the opportunity to do good. And I really thank you guys for having a very nice discussion on this topic.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you again. And I like to thank my viewers again for watching iTeens World, and where we were discussing self-confidence, and I'm sure there will be some takeaways from this episode. And inshallah, till next time, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Through the window, realize all you see is for you and I. In your dreams, through the nights, every moment that passes by, look to the heavens, hands spread wide, thanking Allah the Most High. There is no God but Allah. Muhammad is his messenger. Look to the heavens, hands spread wide, thanking Allah the Most High. There is no God but Allah. Muhammad is his